Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're doing okay. Me personally, a little bit of the cold, but that's alright. Hang with me. So today's a very exciting day. We've been going to now talk about the United States and Canada and how you deliver. Now, United States and Canada is a lot different to Europe and Australia and what have you. They have 5.1 audio, which hooray, and they've also got stereo that goes for the ride, and they've got CEA captions in 608 and 708. If you want to know more about that, have a look at the link to the right. Okay, so we're going to look at all the nonlinears in this series on what can actually do a CEA608 and a 708 and how you export 5.1 in stereo and mixing and all sorts of fun stuff. So big shout out to Emotion Systems on their fantastic kit called Engine, which can take a stereo, smash it out to a 5.1 in stereo into a single file. And as you've probably seen in the previous one, you have very limitations on some of the nonlinears and what you can do. Autodesk can't do it, which is totally fine because Flame is not meant to be a captioning system. It's meant to be a finishing tool. But Adobe Premiere wins hands down. And the reason they win hands down is that they're the only ones that can do an XDCAm embedded 608 and 708 captions. So we're going to start off with Adobe Premiere. And with his little counterpart of Adobe Media Encoder, those two together are actually quite rock solid. So let's quickly go through this. So what I want to show you is that I normally get a 8-channel mix from the audio house, which is 5.1, and then 7 and 8 is stereo mix. I copy and paste these guys, so copy and V, and then this one I'll call 5.1, 5.1, and what I'll do with the 5.1, I'll right click, modify, right click, modify, and audio channels, and I'll do one channel. I'll make this 5.1 and that'll work through there. Click okie dokie, go back to my main one, copy and V. This one will be called stereo. And right click stereo, modify audio channels. This will be stereo, one channel, not that. Take it off 1 and 2, and that'll be 7 and 8. Okie spokey. So that's how I'd kind of take this one channel. I can double click on here, have a look, there's my 5. And double click on here, there's my stereo. So done that, put them up here. So to avoid that, when I do my sequence, I go new sequence. In this case, I've just picked DSLR. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't pick anything else. Surround and sing. So I come into my tracks, make this 1 for the video, and do a multi-channel. First track is going to be 5.1. Second is going to be standard. It's 8 channels all up, and I have a look at this. This is going 1 to 5. And this is going 7 to 8. So once I've got my settings all up and rocking, I can then drop my 5.1 in here, my stereo in here, and my video in here. Play it back. Happy days. I've got 5.1 through 1 to 6, and I've got stereo on 7 and 8. Next is the captions. Now this is not a captioning tutorial in any way, shape or form. There's loads of other cool ones out there. What I just want to show you is the difference between 608 and 708. Now 608 has a certain area where you can actually put parameters because it's kindly made for 4:3 TV. Now what you're currently looking at now is the 708 version. If I go to my little wrench, go to captions, settings, change this back to 608 and click apply, you'll see that this is a lot smaller in areas where you can actually do it. So a lot of people actually do 608 all the way through, and then after that they will go 608, copy V, change that to a 708, right click on that, modify, captions, and then change it to a 708. Then if they want, do widescreen. So this is kind of a real quick win to do it because all you'll do there is just grab your 708 and drop it on top. And then if you want to look at your 708 captions to be a bit more kind of creative or extra real estate, because it is for a digital transmission on widescreen TVs, you will then see, if I change the 7.8, I've actually repurposed it through here. There is no right or wrong for it. All you need to be very careful of is if you take a widescreen 708, put into 608, the captions will be cut off. So you need to be very careful. So in this case, I've made my spot. It's all groovy. I'm listening to it through. It's 5.1, there's stereo. Have a look at my captions. Captions are cranking along. Everything's a happy day. So let's get this out. Now let me show you what I'm doing over in Media Encoder. So let's now pick on this one here. So if I look at my presets and jump in, this is an XDCAm It's a 2308, it's 422, and I don't have any GOP structures on the 2308s, just leave them as variables. Into my effects, I jump down to my audio tracks and I've got loudness normalization. This is brilliant. So I do 5.1 on 1 to 6 and I do stereo on 7 and 8. How this works is that you can actually add stuff onto this and you can then manipulate what you want to be on that track. I don't have 9, so I'm going to delete that out. My video, as I mentioned before, audio is just showing you 8 channels, so you don't get to see any of the audio allocation to it, and the captions are embedded in the output file. If I look at, say, a ProRes one, the ProRes version only does 608. So even though you've come through and you've done your audio normalization and you've manipulated the channels here, if you go into audio, you can then override that again by manipulating it. So in the output file, it'll actually have 2 audio streams. So you can, if you wish, do it as a single audio stream and choose the SMPTE version down here. I'm just saying this is how I've had huge success on. So again, talk to your digital supplier to make sure it is good. And in Captions, it's embedded in the open file. So let's go and spit this out and see what happens. So in this case, I'm going to export it. I'm going to try my 8 channels at 2398, and I'm going to export that. So this will spit out 8 channels, 5.1 channel 1 to 6, and then 7 and 8 will be stereo, and it will include the 608 and the 708 embedded in the auxiliary data. Now, normally with ProRes and QuickTimes, it's embedded in the text track or the timecode track, depending on which application you use. So this is the only system I've seen that actually allows both of them to be embedded in a file. So if you want to be rock solid, 100% sure this is going to work, then absolutely use this system. So let's go hide this and go and have a look. I'm in _2. Should have done some cleanup before I showed you guys this. So let's have a look at the media info. There we go. Media info is showing me 1 through to 8, 6, and 7. And if I jump in here and have a look, progressive, constant, where is your GOP structures? GOP structures are variables and all that jazz. So there we go, and timecode track and what have you. So that's great. So let me do a bit of cleanup here, and then I'll show you with the ProRes one. So there's cleanup there, and this XMP file drives me absolutely spanners. So let's now spit out a ProRes one. So go to my QuickTime versions, and I'll put all these presets available to you guys as well. So even though I've got my captions all embedded, I've got my audio, that's all groovy. If I spit this out as a ProRes, because ProRes is now being introduced to Premiere on Windows and Mac, so down for haters. As you see, it's a lot quicker to export out. I don't know if that's because I'm on a Mac or not. Totally irrelevant, but what we want is consistency, and a lot of the digital distributors, if not all of them, will then take the 608 captions and bump them up to 708 for you. Again, check with the guys that you're using and make sure that's all groovy. So the media info will just show me 608 here, and there's my second audio track, which is my stereo, and there's my original one, which is my 5.1. Now, what's right or wrong? I really don't know. It depends on what you're going to deliver as. So this QuickTime is probably about a gig and some change. The XDCAm's around about 500, so it's about half the size. So depending on what your workflow is, your speed, your upload, all that sort of fun stuff, it would really depend on what you'd like to use. So this is what it's showing you. How about letting your head down? So in QuickTime, it shows differently to what it would show on a digital television. That's how QuickTime is. So let's recap. With Premiere, you can actually do your 5.1 and your stereo, and it's really quite simple to get out. Your 608 and 708 captions are kind of in there. With the XDCAm, with that preset, it's the only one I've found that can do those both embedded at the same time. So as always, guys, I hope this helps. I'll put the presets down below. And as always, look after yourself.